My sister and I got in a fight and called me not her real brother because I'm adopted and Asian when the rest of my family is white and biological. Hi Maiden, I 13M got in a fight with my sister over the way her boyfriend treats her. Her 16F boyfriend can be nice at times but has a habit of leaving her on read. Thought it wasn't right and me saying evolved into a huge where she yelled, "Why do you care, you aren't my real brother anyways." I instantly started crying and went to my room and locked the door. I skipped the rest of my online classes and I have not unlocked my door since. I stopped crying a while ago but I'm still really fucking upset. Both of my sisters have came to my door to try and get me to come out. A sister who said it has said sorry multiple times and I believe she didn't mean it, but I can't face her right now without being upset. When she was at my door she called my mom and explained what happened, and my mom and dad have tried calling me but I won't answer. I just want to be alone, but eventually I have to come out and I don't know what to do when that happens. TDLR, my sister told me I'm not her real brother. I got upset, ran to my room and she regrets it, but I don't want to even look at her. Hi Aiden. I'm also adopted and have a brother and sister who aren't my biological siblings. Growing up, me and my brother and sister said some pretty mean stuff to each other, similar to what your sister said. When you hear it for the first time it's heartbreaking. To hear someone so close to you say something so mean isn't easy on a young mind. You don't have to talk to her right away. If you live together it's going to be difficult to avoid her, but give yourself a little bit of time, and when you're ready try talking to her. Given that you have a fairly close relationship that is, and it sounds like she is genuinely sorry for what she said, just tell her exactly how you feel. Even if you have to tell her that you're upset and hurt by what she said, just tell her exactly how you feel and be as honest as possible. Understand exactly how you feel, and honestly you guys sound like you have a pretty good relationship, so if that's the case then this will be something you laugh about in your 20s. Me and my sister were laughing about a thing like this from when we were kids yesterday. Lol. When it's happening it's horrible and you have every right to be upset and angry at her. Those feelings are normal and they do get easier once you've talked it out. Give yourself time and just be honest about how you feel and they will understand why you're hurt by this. But most importantly, be strong. By the sounds of her reaction to you being in your room, your sister does care for you and will be able to understand your feelings a bit better if you talk to her. Feelings like yours right now are not permanent. Good luck and I wish you and your family all the best. Heart. First of all, remember that, no matter how angry you are, no matter how sad you are, that these feelings will pass. You will feel better. And we have all been stuck in a room afraid to face everybody after being mega upset and not knowing how to rejoin the group. Your sister is in pain because your observation was right. A good BF shouldn't leave you on read. She knows what that means and she lashed out at you. If she had a more developed sense of self-esteem, she might have said, "You're right, Aiden. Goodbye to that loser. Let's us get a latte and forget all about him." But instead, she felt rejected and unlovable and she tried to make you feel as bad as she did. But what she said was so bad. I am so sorry you had to hear that from a family member, even if you know she didn't mean it. She did mean to make you feel bad in that moment. I hope she realizes that momentary relief of lashing out in anger can never be worth harming her relationships with you and your parents. Boy, do I wish I had had a brother to point out when I was letting a boyfriend treat me badly. It would have been awesome to have a bro say, "You don't need that, you deserve better." You sound like the kind of family member I would want. I don't blame you for being upset. Your sister said an incredibly cruel thing to you. I think there are essentially two good options here. Option 1, if you usually have a strong relationship with your sister, you need to come out of your room when you're ready and say you want to talk to her. Explain that saying things like that to you is incredibly hurtful and upsetting, that you know she was angry but that is not a fair way to fight. That this kind of insult is off limits even when you argue. Option 2, if you don't feel like you can address this head on with your sister, you need to tell your parents. You can explain that you know she didn't mean it and don't want her to get in trouble, if that's indeed how you feel, but that this was extremely upsetting to you and that this kind of cruel, personal attack in a moment of anger needs to stop. Last, something I've heard said about adopted children that I think is really kind, that so few people get to explicitly choose their children, but you are so loved your family chose you individually to be part of their world. My partner is Korean and was adopted by his white family when he was a baby and found out the hard way after some bullying from school when he was 7 years old that he was adopted. He came home and asked at the dinner table one night, "Mom, Dad, why do I look different?" And that's when they told him that yes, he was adopted, but no matter what, he is their child and they love him just the same as they do their biological daughter, his sister. I don't think your sister was thinking clearly when she said what she did, but it was definitely very hurtful and mean. Whether you want to forgive her is your choice, but I'm sure your family loves you. Personally, I believe that real family is what you make it. There's people I've met in life I consider my family more than some of the people I'm actually related to by blood. Hi Aiden. I'm sorry your sister lashed out and said some mean stuff to you when you were just trying to be concerned for her. When people lash out and do hurtful things, if you're able to, try to take a step back and look at their actions. See if you can figure out their motivations or reasons. If you can figure out why someone is being negative, sometimes it makes forgiving them easier. It's a skill called empathy, trying to consider the circumstances of someone else's life and imagining how that would be. If your sister had used empathy for you, she may have thought Aiden may sometimes feel like he doesn't fit into our family and he tries hard to show he's a member and he cares about us. And maybe because you care so much, you got involved in her personal relationship with her boyfriend. Instead, she got mean. Sometimes people don't say the right things or don't address their emotions in the correct or healthy ways. Your sister was probably already upset her boyfriend wasn't paying attention to her and your comments may have embarrassed her or she thought your opinions weren't welcome. Rather than thinking about how she felt or addressing whether or not your opinions were welcome, she reacted in a way to hurt you, by trying to make you feel less significant than her in your home and giving herself a sense of superiority. That really wasn't fair of her. Listen to the apologies. Listen for if they say I'm sorry I did _ or I'm sorry your feelings got hurt. There's a difference between telling someone you're sorry for your actions and that you're sorry for their reaction. Your parents will probably want to be there for you. When you're ready to talk about how you're feeling and why, give them a shot. My 28 meters, wife's BFF-in-law, 26 meters, is upset we don't want to buy a house from him and it is making it difficult for us all to spend time together. A long story, I guess. My wife is Samantha, 26F, we got married a little over a year ago. Her best friend since literally forever is Erin, and Erin's husband is Andrew. Andrew is a real estate agent who works at his dad's office doing standard real estate stuff. As far as I can tell, their office seems to specialize in big, expensive suburban homes that are all the rage around where we grew up. Naturally, I've spent plenty of time around Erin and Andrew as Erin and my wife were inseparable growing up and are still pretty close. Andrew and I kind of have conflicting personality types, so we'll probably never be close friends, but we get along well enough to hang out for an evening. A few months after we got married, Sam and I were at Erin and Andrew's home. Andrew started asking us where we wanted to buy a house. Sam and I have long agreed that owning a big house in the suburbs isn't really a priority in our lives, and we are kicking around the idea of moving closer to the city anyway. But when we told that to Andrew, he just kind of blew it off and told us that of course we want to buy a house because it is what you do after you get married and we'll never find someone who can work out a deal like he can. He wanted me to look at some pictures of homes he has listed, but the whole mood was becoming uncomfortable, so we found an excuse to leave and he wouldn't leave us alone until we promised we'd look at his website. Ever since then, it's like Andrew cannot be in the same room with Sam or myself without trying to talk us into looking at homes with him. I have started actively avoiding them just because it is so annoying that every time we meet he wants me to look at some listings on his phone or agree to go to a showing. I'm sorry to do it because I know Sam wants to hang out with her friend as a couple, but now even Erin is in on the game. shame. Sam went with Erin to do some shopping a week or two ago and she said Erin had them drive totally out of their way to swing by some house Andrew has listed, and Erin asked Sam to talk to me about it. Sam has been mad ever since that now she can't hang with her friend without being bugged about Andrew's listings. Is there any saving this? Samantha really misses Erin, and I'd love to hang out together again, but every time it just turns into a sales pitch. Is there a way to salvage the friendship? Too long didn't read. Wife's best friend is married to a real estate agent who won't leave us alone about buying a house to the point we don't want to hang out anymore. Is there any chance of saving the friendship? This is weird. Is there a reason you cannot firmly tell them you are not interested in a home purchase at this time? Is it possible your wife secretly wants a big house in the burbs? Otherwise it seems like a simple and straightforward declaration should end the conversation and you can continue socializing as before. That's what we tell him every time it comes up. We're not really interested in buying out here. He just answers stuff like, well, okay, but look at this and see if it changes your mind. And by the next time we hang out he acts like it was a conversation that never happened. Sam should start inviting Erin to hang out with her more and not go to Erin's place. If they are good friends, Sam should be able to say, listen, we're not interested in a house in the suburbs. And when your husband doesn't listen, it makes me uncomfortable. I do not want to look at any more houses in the suburbs. If the friendship ends over that, then shame on Erin for letting her husband run roughshod over her. I disagree with soliciting business from family and friends. In my world as a lawyer, I get my business from clients that are only hiring me on merit, and because I am successful on my own that way, I use my expertise to give my friends and family free legal services. I don't believe it should be any other way. Tell him you expect BC your family/friends that he will be waiving commission and this is just a favor, right? He will probably drop it. I work in sales. He's trying to make a commission off of you. He's self-important expecting that you're of course going to give him the business. Don't fall for it. Try and put him on the defensive saying you have your own priorities that don't coincide with his sales goals and you're disappointed he views you as just a low-hanging fruit prospect for his business. The wife is just trying to help him get a paycheck. It's shady as hell and very seedy business dealings. What makes a salesman honest and what makes their friends want to do business with them is that they do good honest work, not nag their friends for business. Hey, we'd love to keep hanging out but we need to set a boundary about discussing real estate. Sam and I need you to both understand that we don't want to look any more listings, visit properties, or discuss our real estate plans with you guys anymore. While we appreciate your hustle, we feel the need to remind you we haven't hired you as our agent and we're not looking to buy. The pressure you guys are putting on us is making our hangouts feel transactional. We've tried to let you know we're not interested repeatedly but we feel like we're not being heard on this and it's caused us to pull away. Once again, we'd like to have a social relationship with you guys but the real estate talk needs to stop. I hope you can understand our feelings and that we can put this behind us and move forward in our friendships. Talk to them like adults and be crystal fucking clear about it. If they can't handle it, then fuck them. If they agree, then violate the boundary again. Stop them immediately. Say so. We set a very clear boundary on this matter in October. What about our statement wasn't clear? Redirect the convo to make them stop or end the gathering if you have to. Wife flirting with strangers online. Did I go too far to find out more? My 38 meters, wife 38F, of 14 years has her nose buried in her phone constantly. As she's self-employed, I'd come to accept this as necessary but on 3 occasions in the past 18 meters I've stumbled upon inappropriate flirting with strangers on Insta via a shared device. Each time she's been shifty and in denial. Trust has been eroded very badly and I reluctantly took to checking up on said device. She's now routinely deleting chats and clearing notifications, which we haven't discussed. Her content online seems to court male attention, lots of selfies and sometimes suggestive posts. Try not to dictate, it's her life etc, but every now and again I burst and we argue. She apologizes. Soon we're right back where we were. But lack of trust is like poison and I had a hunch the issue hadn't gone away. So I decided to set up a generic fake Insta account purporting to be a fictional local male and started subtly making contact in a semi-sleazy way that most happily married women would simply ignore. She fairly quickly made contact with mildly flirty messages on the back of my fake interest and after a while, to my horror, suggested the chat move to WhatsApp, obviously avoiding the shared device Insta problem. I'm feeling sick by this point as, having set up a fake WhatsApp profile too, I know, I'm in deep. She spends an entire day, even when in my company and even when in bed beside me, messaging semi-sleazy fake mail and courting further advances. I feel some guilt for the lengths I've gone to see what is happening and I had no plan for what I would do if my suspicions were confirmed. We have children and have recently moved to a new city together, which was meant to be more than enough excitement for 1 year. TL, drive I have no idea what to do next. Will she agree to meet with fake sleaze if I push? Did I go too far to find out the truth? Is it just a harmless ego boost that won't go further? Or is my marriage essentially over? Update, thank you for all comments, mostly V helpful. Confronted her this afternoon. She lied and then, faced with evidence, I didn't reveal the fake AC scenario, she broke down. Commenters were right, I'd seen enough. Further monitoring would only have brought more turmoil. I don't have the will for counseling. This has been an awful betrayal and I can only cringe at the actions I didn't see. It's over. Kids are priority now. Wish me luck. Best wishes to all. Update 2. Hard to write. But yes, it was physical. Very physical. With multiple men. Over a sustained period of time and as recently as 2 weeks ago. She tells me it is over. That she wasn't sure if she wanted me but now she is sure. It was mostly just sex but with the most recent affair there were feelings. It has been a tortuous few days and there is I know worse to come. Thank you for your comments. Divorce is inevitable now but she is currently refusing to accept. Telling me she has finally told me everything and how it will never happen again, how she has been depressed and needs professional help. Predictable I suppose. Sadly, disastrously, I can never ever trust her again. There can be no going back. Peas. I was at 5 AM this morning confronting the current squeeze. A married man with a child. So, horrifically, unintentionally, there are 2 houses in ruins today. A very unhappy ending indeed. This is not harmless. She is seeking male attention online and has no issue talking to these men. It's one thing to post hot selfies online, no issues there, but when she starts responding to random men sliding into her DMs, that's shady as hell and personally it would be a deal breaker for me. You've confronted her and she lied. Sure, maybe what you did isn't the most ethical, but who gives a shit? She's at the very least emotionally cheating on you. Tell her you know she's been talking to random men on the internet and you're not comfortable with this. Depending on how she handles the conservation, could be how you can't tell your marriage is over. She seems genuinely upset and sorry and promises to end her online conversations, then maybe you can work on this. If she's combative and lies and just wants to continue to message men on the internet, then you know what to do. I'm sorry this is happening to you, Op. Know you love your wife, but keep your head on straight. Don't sacrifice your peace and happiness to stay with someone who does not respect you or your marriage. I don't think you went too far. She was clearly concealing the truth from you, so I'm not sure you would have found out otherwise. You need to decide what you want. To split, try counseling, figure out what you are willing to do, then approach her about it. She may try to turn the tables on you based on your fake account. However, that does not negate her conduct. I can't say whether or not it is merely an ego boost. But she knows how you feel about it yet continues to inappropriately flirt with other men, so I wouldn't call it harmless at this point. I actually did this exact thing to catch my ex-husband after many months of suspicion that he was cheating. I made a fake account on a dating site, he started talking to me, after a week or so he asked me to meet him at a place he normally went and hung out at. I pull into the parking lot, since I hung out there with him a lot too, and he immediately ran inside the building and started texting my fake profile saying he can't meet up. his kid is sick and he has to leave. Fake account was like, oh man, I'm around the corner, can I just see you real quick? It went back and forth for a couple minutes while he stood in line inside the coffee shop until I said knew you would change your mind once your wife got here. He then locked himself in the bathroom and I left and packed his shit and had it waiting for him outside. Oh BTW, this was all on my birthday 6 years ago. Best decision I ever made and don't regret any of it. If you truly want to know, I would do it. But know that you will have to make a decision if you do find out she is willing to meet up. I'm sorry you're going through this, I know how it feels and I wouldn't want anyone to feel that way. Underscore if you like pina coladas ... underscore. Sorry, op, I couldn't resist. Anyway, to the point, I think you should go talk to an individual therapist, who can help you figure out if you want to take this to couples counseling or divorce. I'm so sorry. Good luck. I don't think it matters how far she'll go at this point, the more important thing is that you don't trust her to not go too far, and probably for very good reason. Is your goal to restore trust and go back to normal? Because I don't think your wife is on the same page with that goal, and I think your mistrust is probably very valid. I'd talk to her about it and maybe suggest couples therapy, but figuring out what your goals are is probably a better place to focus now instead of continuing down this path of trying to catch her in the act. I've seen enough now. Save yourself the pain you know you're about to cause yourself, work on solutions, even if that means extraction.